On this item, members, debate or discussion, Senator Wright.
This is probably the second part of a discussion, but members, I would go back to an old saying that my parents used to say, that there's never enough time to do it right and there's always enough time to do it over. We've been playing with this issue now for the last 6 months. If all of the things that you've heard of reform that were going to happen, they just occurred in the last 48 hours. What have we been doing for the last 6 months? I submit to you that none of that stuff will happen because it assumes that not only do you get all of the votes, but that you have a governor who also concurs with the position. You might be able to assemble the votes here to do that, but you don't have any commitment from the person who has to sign the bill to do those things. And he didn't make a commitment to you. His initial commitment was he wanted to eliminate the program. Now, we were discussing earlier that whose money is it? When I was referring to their money, I wasn't making it a case where it was mine or that it belongs to the locals, but let me remind you of something. Just like you, I have mayors in my city, I have city council members in my city, I have supervisors in my district, I have people who were elected just like me. Perhaps unlike you, I have full faith in them that they know how to run the jurisdictions that they've been elected to, just like we have. So what we're doing here, members, is we've made a decision. We're going to balance our budget by taking the money that they've been using to balance theirs. So the discussion earlier is absolutely true. So here in Sacramento, they're going to lay off a few hundred police officers. Most of the cities and counties that you represent have been laying off workers because they have not had enough money. So our solution to them is to come and take even more of their money. Some of the cities have done something where they've been using personnel on two sides. Yes, they've used some of the RDA personnel to do some of the city work. That's not illegal. But I want to take you back to another thing. The redevelopment agencies have been complying with the law. Let me say that again. The discussion of abuse suggests that the redevelopment agencies have somehow been committing crimes. Not one redevelopment agency in California has been accused of violating a law. If it was, they should be put in jail. I wouldn't have a quarrel with that. They have been complying with the law. Even if you take the issue of the school money that has to be paid back, that occurred in Prop 98. It wasn't a defect in the redevelopment law. That was a change in law that occurred subsequent to redevelopment agencies. So here we're saying to the redevelopment agency, if you don't give me all the money that I want, I'm going to shut you down. Now, in South Central LA, we call that extortion. Now, I'm not sure what you call it in Sacramento, but in South Central, that's extortion. If you don't give me your money, then I shoot you in the head. That's extortion, plain and simple. That's why much of what will happen in this bill will be litigated. That's why you're not going to get any money in the budget year. That's why I would suggest that if we're concerned about redevelopment, if all of the things that have been described are possible, then what we should do is recess and go do those things now, so that what we send is exactly what we intend. So we're not in the position of hoping that whether it's the assembly or the governor or whomever else concurs with the position that we have. I, like many of you, have the utmost appreciation and respect for the pro tem. I don't have that same confidence in the other branches of government that would have to concur with what we do. And the only way that you have that you're going to maintain control is if you only send something that you're prepared to live with. If you send something that you can't live with under the guise that I'll fix it later, then you just bought a pig in a poke. And you ain't gonna fix nothing later, because that assumes that the other people will let you fix it later, and you don't have any control over that. So again, if you're voting for these two bills today, you're voting to eliminate redevelopment. It ain't a reform. There ain't gonna be no housing. There ain't gonna be any economic development, because if there was, you'd leave it alone. Today is a vote to eliminate flat plain and simple, redevelopment. It's a vote to take money from local governments that they control to do the development that we want done.
Senator Wright, one moment, please. Members. One moment, please, Senator Wright. Senator Wright, thank you for your patience. Please proceed.
Okay. This is a vote to eliminate an agency. Will you be able to restore it? Maybe. Can you control the restoration? No. You are now voting to kill something and then hope that later on it's within your power to resurrect it. I submit to you that if you really believe that, then fix it today. That's what we should do. That's why you should vote no on AB 27. Because if you really believe in redevelopment, if you really believe in the local elected officials with whom you share public service, then you need to become public servants and serve. And the way you do that is you work cooperative with the people who also represent constituencies just like you do. This is a taking of their revenue. You'll spend the next year in court. There'll be no money in the budget year. I ask for a no vote.